नमस्कार, मी सिद्धार्थ चांदेकर. अर्बनली प्रेझेंट्स मशाल 2.0 को स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय 1993 अ सलॉन कंपनी या कार्यक्रमात तुम्हा सगळ्यांचं मनापासून स्वागत आहे. मंडळी, यूट्यूब चॅनल बनवणं किती अवघड गोष्ट आहे. विचार करा, एक मुलगी कॅनडातून भारतात येते, भारतातून महाराष्ट्रात येते, मराठी भाषेच्या, मराठी संस्कृतीच्या प्रेमात पडते आणि इतकी प्रेमात पडते की मराठीतलं सगळ्यात मोठं यूट्यूब चॅनल ती तयार करते. आज आपण भेटणार आहोत भाडीपाची को फाउंडर पॉला मॅगलिन हिला आणि तिच्याकडून जाणून घेऊया की भाडीपा नेमकं कसं सुरू झालं ते. भेटूया.
How are you,
Great.
Paula? How are you? What have you been doing? What are you doing?
Well, I've been fantastic because this last year was extremely busy for us, despite COVID and all of the horrible stuff that happened in 2020 and 2021. Uh, August and September kind of made up for everything. Maybe not everything, but it's definitely been we've been on a bit of a high because in August, our series Shantit Kranti released on Sony Live, and it's been performing really well. And then in September, we crossed 1 million subscribers on BhaDiPa, which is a long-awaited milestone. So it's good.
And you got a gold YouTube button, right?
Yeah, we got the play button on YouTube. So
in August.
That's a nice little. No, we crossed in September, and the play button just came a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I knew about BhaDiPa. We had talked about it when you were dreaming about it, when you were planning about doing something like that. So I remember you telling me things about it. But I want to know, when exactly did you and Sarang you realize that this is what we should do and this is what we should get into?
Well, there was a key moment. First of all, let me preface by saying that there's 3 of us founders. It's me, Sarang, and Anusha Nandukamar. Yes. So we all kind of came up with everything together, but there was that light bulb moment when we were at a conference, and AID and TVF, English kind of channels were picking up really well on YouTube at that time. And this is before TVF was doing big shows. This is when Permanent Roommates and Pictures was coming out. And at the same time, Marathi cinema had kind of had a great year. I think Naka Samrat had released and was, grossing very high numbers for Marathi at that time.
Yeah.
And so we looked at this and thought, hey, how come there's no Marathi YouTube channels out there? And we looked and we tried to search for some, and we couldn't find any dedicated Marathi language content creators. No vloggers, nothing, just a few Maushi's cooking recipes on Daily Motion. And there was a few people who had done Marathi videos, but their whole channel wasn't dedicated to Marathi entertainment. So that was the moment where we thought, okay, well, obviously there's a hole in the market. There's something that we should do. And this can be a good opportunity for us to put our own voice out there, particularly because we had spent the last couple of years sort of sustaining on brand videos, which is a brand wants to put itself out there. They've got a new CSR campaign, or they want to promote their new product. And we were doing digital ads for them. And they wanted them to be good, feel-good videos. And they would come to us and say, do a viral video for us.
Okay.
And we'd have to kind of think, how do we make a relatable, engaging video that will work for the brand? And so when this idea came along to start our own Marathi thing, we thought, okay, we've been struggling trying to get a voice, in series and long format and films, and it's not been working out. Why don't we kind of prove that there's an appetite for new, different types of content, and BhaDiPa will be our proof of concept for that. So that was the whole proof in the pudding. And we thought, let's build a dedicated audience who is so interested in watching our content that these brands that we're slogging over right now, they'll come to us and they'll want to be on our channel, and that'll be like a little shift in power dynamic because we were so tired of them. So that's eventually what happened after, as you know, a year of trying to raise funds, and then finally we launched, and it's been 5 years since.
Wow. Now, so BhaDiPa has not only started a dedicated YouTube channel, but it has also inspired several others for them to start their own original Marathi content and original Marathi YouTube channels. So for more people to come in and for more people to do something what you have done, I want to ask, what were the risks, the initial risks, or what were you scared of before starting something like this? There might be something that this is the thing we have to, we have to conquer, and then we are done. Then we are good. So what was that first obstacle which you thought?
I think initially the biggest obstacle we thought would be there is, people won't like our content.
Oh my God.
That was the first thought, before we actually started making videos and putting it out there. There is always that doubt that, what if this doesn't work? What if people don't like it? But beyond that, one thing that we realized was the biggest problem that we were facing was finding people who believed in the idea enough to put money behind it. So finding business partners, finding investors was a huge struggle for us at that time. And that was our biggest fear. And that's not to say that every YouTube channel needs an investor, because it's in fact better if you don't have an investor when you're starting out on YouTube, because most people don't need money. Most people don't need money, but we had plans. We had a 3-year business plan. We always wanted to have, multiple channels and get into merge and like so many different types of sides of this business that we knew from the beginning that we wanted to make it a company, and it wasn't just going to be a YouTube channel. But if somebody wants to be a YouTuber or a content creator online, I think the biggest hurdle a lot of people will face is finding their voice.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of inspiration out there. As you said, there's so many people doing it in Hindi, a lot of people who are, getting into doing it in different regional languages. People are doing it in Marathi now. And how do you stand out from that is a big problem a lot of people face. And then how do you project yourself in a way that the audience is interested in? So being different is easy. You can, just be yourself or whatever it is, but how do you make that relatable to people? How do you connect with your audience is a really big hurdle. And a lot of people will jump in and start copying other creators thinking that this is how you do it. But I'm sure if you look at the patterns of, people who've skyrocketed to fame, they've all come with their unique flavor and some authenticity. They're genuine people. They're not, pretending to be something they're not. Like this weird trend that's going on, on TikTok and stuff of like flexing and showing off all of your money and things that you don't have. I don't really think that that's like a long-term goal for success. And if you're going to make it your life, it really doesn't make sense to start off on a fake note, because you're going to have to keep that up. So even if you do well and people don't see through it, you'll have to keep that up for years. And eventually that's going to be really tiring and difficult to do. So the best thing you can do is just stick to making videos that you like, that you're interested in, that you're passionate about. And eventually these platforms are set up with algorithms so that you find your audience. If you use them properly, the audience will find you. And then it's just kind of up to you. Do you market yourself well? Do you connect with them well? And all of that stuff. But eventually, I think that there's a niche for everyone.
Of course there is. So I want to get to the pre-BhaDiPa period, or let's say the pre-India period of your life. But before that, I want to ask you a question. This is what my thinking is nowadays. This is what I think, that before even being a product, many people right now, as far as online content is concerned, many people want to become a brand first and then become a product. So they just want to become a name first. Like that's what has been going on Instagram Reels and TikTok. So
Yeah.
you can say I need a suggestion from you guys, because you were the product first. You you became a brand right now, and you became a huge brand right now after what, starting in 2016. So it's been what, 5 years, 5 brilliant years, hardworking years. But those 5 years, you know what you have done in those 5 years. But that there's a little impatience in the online content, that they want to become a brand ASAP so that the people can come. What do you think? What you can tell them?
I mean, everybody's different. There's so many individuals out there who are making amazing content on Reels and on memes, and you know, if TikTok wasn't banned in India, then in TikTok.
Yeah.
But and there's nothing. I think that probably one misconception that comes from people who, like us, you know, do longer form content and, you know, have like a proper business out of it, is that it's kind of like a lower art form, or not even an art form at all. Which I disagree with. I think it is its own space, it's its own skill set, and people can become very good at it. I think the people who are their own brands, though, need to remember that they have to keep some diversity in what they're doing, because just like, you know, just 2 days ago, Facebook and Instagram were out for 6 hours.
I know, right?
And,
I know.
so, and then 1 year ago, you know, TikTok got banned in India, and all of these TikTokers who had built up a career for themselves in this space had to shift to Instagram Reels, or, you know, these other Indian platforms which started. And at the end of the day, if that's if you are your own business, then you kind of have to like get out on all the platforms possible, because at the end of the day, those platforms have algorithms, they get updates, they're going to keep changing their priorities. And if you're not changing your priorities with them, it can be really hard to keep up. Like just right now, Instagram has got rid of IGTV and feed videos and combined them to make Instagram videos.
Correct. Correct.
2 years after we started at BhaDiPa, we were mainly a YouTube channel, and we were using Facebook just to promote it. Then 2 years in, Facebook said, no, we're a video platform now too. And we won't promote your YouTube links. You have to put your videos on Facebook and upload them on Facebook. So these things keep on changing, and it can be really hard to keep up. So I think that's like a really important thing to remember. But if you are somebody who at the end of the day is just using, you know, being an influencer or a content creator on social media to build up your name so that you can do bigger work. Like, I want to be famous so I can star in films. Becoming an influencer first can work, but you cannot forget that you have to work on a million other things as well, because there's a lot of influencers who have done crossovers into web series and films, music, and you know, if they've been making reels for 2 years and then suddenly they're cast in like an hour and a half long film as the lead actor, that's a very different style of performing. And rather than getting everything across in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you need to hold someone's attention for an hour and a half. And it's not all in your control. You know, you have to work with a big team. And at the end of the day, you know, it's going to be up to the director and the editors and all of that, how you look at the end of the day. So you have to be ready to relearn everything and work within a totally different system, because you just can't cross over that easily and have success. You can definitely try, but you're going to be kind of shooting in the dark if you haven't been practicing both. So I mean, that's just one example, but I think that that's something really important to take note, that just because people are laughing at your videos on Instagram does not mean that your comedy is going to work in a web series. And
wow, well said.
It's very important to take acting classes and practice that type of performance as well.
Wow, that's really well put into words. I really like it. What was Paula doing before coming to India? What was she doing in Canada?
I was doing film school. So yeah, you know, I did a bachelor's of fine arts with a major in filmmaking at Simon Fraser University. That's in Vancouver, Canada. And when I started university, I actually only did a BFA because my mom insisted. I didn't really want to go to university or do secondary education, because I thought, you know, I just want to like travel and try new things and be a bit of like a vagabond or something. And my mom said, you know, if you want to go and like make documentaries, because that's what I wanted to do originally, because I just thought, you know, let me work for National Geographic and travel and stuff. She said, if you're going to do that, don't just get into the industry, get a degree. In case you fail, then you can always, you know, be a teacher or something.
Wow.
So like many Indian middle class
I just imagined you as a teacher. I just imagined you as a teacher.
I am a teacher. I live every day of my life I'm teaching people. Just ask the people at the office.
So how exactly did Marathi Maharashtra happen to you? How exactly did it happen to you?
Well, so when I finished the film program, I got an opportunity to do an internship in India, because Canada had a government program funding students to do internships. So it was going to be expenses paid, and go to India, make some connections over there in the similar industry that you're studying, and come back. And I guess there was some bigger goal that it'll help build more business ties between Canada and India. And and I kind of went mainly because I wanted a free trip. I didn't know anything about India apart from like the people who I knew who had visited India came back with like yoga certificates and like
and the Taj Mahal. Come on, tell me. Tell me the Taj Mahal. That's it.
I had read Life of Pi in my English class. I knew about partition. I studied that all, but I didn't have any interest in going to India or like Bollywood or anything. I just thought Bollywood was like your like 1970s, like Shami Kapoor, that kind of a space. I didn't know what was going on. And anyway, so free trip to India. I came. I ended up meeting people all over the country in the film industry. Started in Chennai, then Mumbai, Pune, and Hyderabad. Learned about different regional languages, learned about parallel cinema, independent stuff that's going on. I was meeting people like Anurag Kashyap and like Sridhar Raghavan and Sriram Raghavan. And these, my whole, you know, perspective got completely shattered. And I saw this industry. I thought, well, let me come back and let me try, you know, making a name for myself over here. Let me make a name for myself in India, because Canada, there wasn't really much going on. It was very like government funded as an industry. And it takes a really long time to move up if you want to be a writer director. Your best bet if you're living in Canada, and the fastest route to success, if you're actually talented, then your fastest route is to leave the country and do it somewhere else, because there's a huge seniority system to get these government grants and things like that. And with people like Rishi Mehta and Deepa Mehta kind of dominating the industry, there's not much pie to go around. So anyway, came a couple of times after that before I landed up in Pune to assist on a film that was being shot there called CRD. And
it
on
was
that,
an outstanding film. Yeah, it was an
yeah,
outstanding film.
I take zero credit for it.
But still, it was an outstanding film.
Oh, that's great to hear. Sarang did the casting on it, and
Okay.
Anusha was the chief AD, and I was
Uh-huh.
second AD.
Mhm.
And on that project, we really bonded and decided, let's work together. Let's make a company together. Let's make films together. Let's write. Let's do this, because we got really excited about a lot of the stories that we could tell in Maharashtra.
Mhm.
The first thing Sarang and I started working on was a period film musical that was like based in the times of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And I jumped right in, and that was like a fully Marathi film. And all of the research that went into that. Anusha was also writing a Marathi film, even though she's Maharashtrian because she's born in Pune. Her background is Tamilian. And so she also didn't speak fluent Marathi, but she was very excited about making a Marathi film. So after that, we kind of put a lot of focus into Marathi from the very beginning. And eventually, when we kind of got frustrated of nobody listening to our ideas or giving us a chance, we finally made Marathi go online on digital.
Wow, outstanding. That honestly, this is such an inspiring journey you three had.
Thank you.
And it's really going to teach me also personally, everyone. It's going to teach a lot of things to many content creators who are out there who are trying to create something. I need to know now what are the next plans for BhaDiPa? What do you want to make? When I'm going to see a BhaDiPa app on my iPhone?
Well, I don't think you'll ever see a BhaDiPa app on your iPhone.
Why?
Because do you know why? It's because we feel that if we go into an app, we're automatically limiting ourselves to the Marathi audience. And for us, the bigger vision has always been to get international audiences to watch Marathi content, Marathi films, Marathi series. And, to have like that Marathi Game of Thrones or that Marathi Money Heist or whatever it is, travel out and like have people watch that who don't speak Marathi at all and have to watch it with subtitles.
Okay.
If we make a BhaDiPa app, then it's going to be very hard for people to discover our content outside of our existing space. So for us, I think it's for us. I honestly feel like the Marathi industry as a whole needs to dream a little bigger and think beyond a Marathi series or a Marathi film just being for Marathi audiences, because you don't see that mentality happening in like Germany. In Germany, they'll be making something in German. It'll go out to the world, and they hope everybody in the world sees it. And they are looking at global markets. They may not be having like a huge market in like America or something, but just look at the success that Dark had when it came to India on Netflix.
Of course.
So, but to reach out to an international audience, we need, honestly, we need bigger budgets. We need to support the most talented and visionary creators with those big budgets. A lot of new voices also need to come out. So I think that for us, the big step for BhaDiPa is to take things on a world stage. That's what we would love to do. We want to make the Marathi Game of Thrones. Whether or not that happens, who knows? But for us, that's where we're aiming. Wow. So you can expect a lot of more stuff to come from us. We're also not just sticking to Marathi. We have our first Hindi series, which has been co-produced with Endamal Shine India, the same guys who make Big Boss.
Yes.
So those guys, they've co-produced a series with us called Radical. It's our first Hindi show. It's been shot. It's complete. and we're in post-production right now. So that'll go on an OTT platform soon, hopefully. And we're also, about to enter pre-production for our biggest Marathi series yet. So in terms of budgets, so fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly with that. I don't know if that's going to be the one that goes international, but I hope it does, because that's a story that we've been working on for ages, and I think it's really cool. So fingers crossed, yeah.
I'm sure it will, because you know what I am an audience of BhaDiPa. Okay, I'm an audience, so I know many audiences of BhaDiPa, and all they ask nowadays, it's like when you drink water, when you go and buy water, you ask for a Bisleri. When you photocopy, you ask for a Xerox, and that's what is happening about BhaDiPa. Ki tu BhaDiPa pahatos ka? Tu BhaDiPa bhagtos ka? Mi BhaDiPa bhagto. Mi BhaDiPa मध्ये काय बघतो? They don't tell. They don't say मी BhaDiPa मधलं काय बघतो. They just say मी BhaDiPa पाहतो. I watch BhaDiPa.
Wow.
As if it is a brand, as if it is like it is a channel, not only a YouTube channel, but as if it is a television channel. I watch BhaDiPa. As if it is a show, a huge, a humongous show, which is called BhaDiPa. And this is something which indirectly makes me proud that yes, there are something in Marathi is happening. Something in Marathi is happening with where people are so determined, they're so dedicated to create beautiful content. And that's what I got to see in Shantit Kranti. It was your first huge web series, and no doubt it got great response, because I'm sure that Game of Thrones is happening.
I don't know how relatable Shantit Kranti is outside of India, because it depends so much on that Dil Chahta Hai reference.
I know, right? I know.
But definitely, I think that a lot of people have connected to it. Apparently, I don't know because I don't have the numbers, but it's apparently performed extremely well in Gujarat and in Tamil Nadu as well. Okay. So, fingers are crossed that it keeps growing, and hopefully, we're going to be getting started on season 2 soon.
Any plans of getting into Marathi cinema?
Plans are there, yes. But because of the way that COVID has hit the industry overall, I think it might be a little while before you can actually see something happening with BhaDiPa and films. As of right now, digital films, that's quite easy because, you can just make it and put it direct on OTT. But I also feel like, we have a few films that really deserve a theatrical release. And I think there's a pretty big backlog, almost two years almost worth of backlog of Marathi, Hindi, and all the other languages. So probably we'll be able to announce some stuff early next year with what's going on in the film space.
Wow. What do you think about Marathi OTT platforms coming up right now? Now that
there's a lot of them.
Planet Marathi have started, 2 or 3 more, as much as I know, I guess 2 or 3 more are coming only to produce Marathi content, Marathi web series, Marathi films, which wasn't there, 2 years ago. Before, pre-COVID, nothing like that was there. It was only MX Player, which was producing original Marathi content. And you were there on the YouTube. But now many people are coming into making Marathi OTT platforms. Do you have any plans of making an OTT platform?
Well, first of all, I'm super excited that there are Marathi OTT platforms coming up now. I think it's great. I think that it's really going to help give another leg up for people in the industry. It's more work, it's more opportunities for different types of stories to come out. So I think that's very exciting in that way. I think from a business perspective, I feel like have you heard of Hoi Choi?
Sorry?
Have you heard of Hoi Choi?
No, I haven't.
So Hoi Choi is a Bengali language platform.
Okay.
They are one of the biggest regional language platforms in India right now, because they also have the Bangladesh audience on top of their Bengal audience. So there's they have been doing fantastically well over the last few years, making lots of original series. But what's happening now is, Amazon Prime has just announced this new multiple subscription or multiple channel option within its app. So if you go on Amazon Prime, you can search for content across, I think, like 15 different OTT platforms, which have come under the Amazon Prime banner for access. And you do have to pay for them extra, but Hoi Choi is like one of those platforms.
Okay.
So what's happening, what has happened is, because India is such a diverse country and there's so many languages, I think you remember probably 3 years ago, Alt Balaji, Z5, MX Player, Voot, so many people entered the space along with the international players. Now we have Apple, we've got HBO entering India, of course, Disney Plus, Lionsgate. All of these guys have come in, and just think about it as a consumer, like as an audience. If you see something being advertised and you hear it's like a really cool show, eventually it's going to take a while for you to kind of decide, okay, fine, I'll download the new app. I'll download Sony Live to watch Shantit Kranti, but only because I've heard about it so much. And there's so many other things I want to watch on Sony Live that I'll click and I'll actually download it. There's so many OTT platforms out there. People don't have space on their phones for all of them. So eventually, probably not anytime, in the next year or two, but you're going to see a lot more things like what Amazon Prime is doing, and aggregating. Aggregating is basically when you get lots of little things and bring them all together under one roof. So you're going to see a lot of aggregation. You're going to see a lot of takeovers, big companies taking over smaller companies, absorbing all of their content onto their platform. And I feel like those who already have a step up in the industry, like your Amazon Primes, your Disney Hotstar, your Netflix, eventually, if they want to keep growing their audiences in India, they will need to start seriously looking into regional languages. And then at that point, we can probably expect to see a lot of these regional language OTTs either getting absorbed into these bigger ones, or a similar model as to what Prime is doing, where you can subscribe within one app. So in that sense, the way, like 5 years ago, when we were looking at what to do with BhaDiPa, before we started, 6 years ago, I'll say, we actually did a lot of research into, should we start an OTT app? And at that time, it was super expensive. And we thought, no, let's not do this. Let's put our money into the content. Then, honestly, I think about 2.5, 3 years ago almost, we started thinking, okay, now should we do a Marathi OTT Marathi OTT platform? And even more research went into it, because now you had so many case studies, so many different regional guides going on. And I very honestly, I did a lot of research into it. And at the end of the day, it was far more possible for us to start one. But Sadik and Anusha and I kind of looked at the business and we thought, what is our strength? Is it technology? No. Our strength is in storytelling, finding new talent, generally producing content. And if we're going to take advantage of this new OTT space, we would rather be the ones making these top quality shows than just controlling the platform and handing out those jobs to other people. We really wanted to be creators in that time.
Okay, before going, how did Pindadan happen to you? There was
Uh,
one film in which you acted,
yeah,
and you got a chance to work with one of the finest actors in the world.
Manwa Naik.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. So I'm not going to ask you what was your experience, because I know what was your experience and it was quite good. But how exactly did that happen? How did acting happen to you in a Marathi film? How did that happen?
Frankly, when I first came to India, that was probably not even, it hadn't even been a year since I had decided that I'm gonna, live in India, I'm gonna work here, I'm gonna make a living, and I'm gonna try and make it in the industry. As you know, even probably from Pindadan times, I didn't have aspirations to be an actor first.
Okay.
I wanted to be a writer, director, be behind the camera, even producer. I wanted to make other people's ideas happen too. And Pindadan happened because, frankly, there was a lot more work for me as a white blonde girl than there was for me as a writer director.
I can understand that.
So I got a lot of, I still get a lot of calls for acting. And back then I used to take a lot more jobs because, it was work. Sometimes it was very rewarding and it was really fun. Like I actually really enjoy acting as a craft. I think it's fantastic, and it's taught me a lot of things about myself and how I can be in the world. But it was never my driving. Oh, thunderstorm outside. But acting was never my driving force. It was always to tell stories, and for me, I'm too much of a control freak to just be an actor. I need to have some more say in what's going on, like a teacher, do this, put this here, do that there.
I could see that. I know. See, Paula, it was honestly a beautiful talk with you, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Just one small last question. I really want to understand about you as a person. Is
Okay.
You have done a lot of hard work since you have come here to India. You must have done a lot of hard work back there, but you have done a lot of hard work, and we could see it. We saw your hard work. How did you handle the failures which came your way?
I think I can say that we've been lucky in that we haven't had any failures which have significantly put a dent in our path. There's been a lot of small failures along the way, making a video that didn't work out, a business deal gone bad, losing people who you've really wanted to have a long relationship with, and professionally who go off and do their own thing. But those aren't really failures. But I think probably what's just kept us going is never really stopping. I think not having all of your hopes and dreams and goals placed in one project, one video, one film, whatever it is. Because we always had so many things going on, and our vision was so much more than just one success. We had so many successes that a few failures on the way didn't really matter. And honestly, I don't know if I can tell you when will BhaDiPa be successful in my mind.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, we are successful on our journey so far, but there's no end goal or anything. We just want to keep doing what we're doing. And that's the whole reason, why somebody like me got into film in the first place, was that at the end of the day, I just wanted to be happy in my work, doing creative things that I loved, And if I'm loving my work, doesn't matter how hard I have to work for it. And just finding, I think I'll probably say that BhaDiPa is a success when my work-life balance is a success. Because as of right now, I think we're all still working our butts off and the balance is not there. To be very honest, this last year has taken a lot out of us, and we need to start taking more time for ourselves in our personal lives. And that's a sacrifice we were very happy to make. But the day where, you know, we can kind of just close the laptop at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening and move on with life, that's when we can probably say that we are a success. Because it's more about the lifestyle for me than the achievements. You know,
Wow,
the milestones are great, but you know, when
Mhm.
BhaDiPa hit 1 million subscribers, I'll tell you very honestly, I was kind of like, yeah, that's awesome, but probably should have hit this number 2 years ago.
My God.
But that's not a failure, it's just a delayed success. So
Wow.
there's no
I like that thinking.
I don't even know if I've articulated myself properly, but I hope it makes sense.
Yes, it does. It definitely does. Wow, amazing talk with you, Paula. And
Thank you
I'm
so much,
sure
Sid. Thank you for your fantastic questions. I
once
was
you come
worried that
back,
this was gonna be like the first question was gonna be like, you know, what is it like being a woman? So I was like, well, it's
I'm
what you
not
see is
I'm
what
not
you
going
get.
to I'm not going to ask that. I'm not going to ask that. Because
Thank you.
because I'm not going to ask that. I want to know about Paula McGlynn as a content creator, as a director, as a producer, what she's achieving, what are her plans, what she used to do. That's what I want to know. And that's it. That's what I want to know. And I guess this is all. That's what we all should know, what a person is doing and what a person's plans are in future. So
Yeah.
that's why this entire series of interviewing brilliant, influential women who are doing. See, yesterday I interviewed a rugby player, and she was outstanding.
Wow.
The way she told her about her determination towards Indian rugby, she was magnificent, and it was a brilliant talk. And that's what I'm excited about, to know what your
Great.
plans are, to know what your hard work is. Thank you so much, Paula. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.